Good morning, and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
And a good morning to you. It's time for Coffee Ann on ON Radio, Wednesday morning, October 25th. It's the Wednesday before Halloween. Everybody got their Barbie costumes ready to go?
I'm wearing mine.
That's right. Tim's in pink today.
Ken Draper in the house.
That's right.
All right, that's Tim Draper from Navigate Credit Union. Good morning, Tim.
Hola.
Melissa Smith from the St. Antoine Communities is here. Hi, Melissa.
Good morning.
And John Ward is
I've got my Barbie
conspicuously
costume ready.
silent.
I'm going as a charbroil.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Little Barbie, shrimp on
Shrimp
the Barbie.
on the Barbie.
You guys are twinning, though, I have to say. I had to do a double take.
Join
You guys
on
are
in.
matchy-matchy this morning.
Tea for
Polo
two, huh?
shirts. Yeah,
Oh,
there's
that's
me over there.
white.
Oh, yeah, that's very nice. All right, Melissa, it's time for first message from the St. Antoine Communities, please.
Right. So for those of you that don't know a lot about St. Antoine Community, we are a large long-term care campus. We're located in North Smithfield, and we're on the line of Blackstone, Mass. and Woonsocket. And on our property, we offer an expansive continuum of services that range from assisted living to short and long-term skilled care. We have a state-of-the-art rehab center, a private hospice suite, as well as a large secured memory care unit. And the two buildings on our property are the Villa at St. Antoine, which is our 76-apartment assisted living facility, and the Residence at St. Antoine, which is our 180-bed short and long-term skilled care facility. So if you're presently at a crossroads with your loved one and trying to determine when is the right time to seek more help and support, I encourage you to reach out to me. I'd be happy to walk you through your options. You can reach me at 401-767-3500 or email me at msmith@stantoine.net.
All right, Melissa, thank you very much. Starting off today, I wanted to bring this up first on a national level. Did you hear about the Alaska airline pilot
Yes.
yesterday?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just scary. The Alaska airline flight is flying from Spokane, I think it was Spokane, to San Francisco. Had to make the emergency landing in Portland, Oregon. He is an off-duty pilot sitting in the jump seat, which is in the cockpit.
Yeah, they can do that.
And he just said, he announces, "I'm not okay," and then he reaches up to grab
Turn
the
the
fire
fuel.
extinguishers, which would cut the fuel
Yeah.
to the plane.
Yeah.
Luckily, the pilot saw what was going on and tackled him.
Judo chop.
And they got him into the back, and he told the flight attendants, "You need to cuff me right now, or it's going to be bad."
Yeah.
He
They said he
says he's been up for 40 hours, no sleep, and was taking psychedelic mushrooms.
Psychedelics. Yep.
Yeah.
So there you go.
The scary part about the whole thing, he was flying to San Francisco to
get-
pilot another flight.
Right. Which may be the call for
Oh my
he needs
gosh.
that guy needs help, and and his license will be revoked. Let's hope.
There's regulations against something like that, isn't there? They don't even let truck drivers on the road that many hours in a row.
Well, yes, they're supposed to get, they fly
They're-
for so many hours and then sleep.
Right.
Right.
But they're supposed to do
Not
that.
if the
It's
money-
not,
But it
Everyone's
looks like he'd been not working for at least 2 days, got on this flight to go to San Francisco to fly, so he already had supposedly enough rest. The airline doesn't know he's been up for 48 hours or so
right.
doing mushrooms.
Yeah. That's just. It's sad. It's sad. That guy. That is a cry for help. Good thing he didn't get farther than he got.
No, I heard this morning if he had succeeded in pulling the fire extinguisher stuff in the cockpit, it would have turned the plane into a glider.
Right. It would have been the Hudson, like
Right.
Sully on the Hudson.
So
So the pilot would have had to know what to do, and I don't know if you trained for that.
They weren't near any large bodies
there's
of
no
water,
Hudson.
though.
There's no Hudson River.
But there was no river. That's right. Lots of mountains and trees.
Is it near the Columbia River? That's a pretty rough river.
Well, I don't know
I don't know
my
if it's as
geography
wide
out
as
there.
ours.
Out there, it's just scary. But imagine if he kept going and was flying. He was the pilot on the next flight.
Yeah.
It's just scary to think that there's
It's
certain
very-
professions, doctors, teachers, police officers, pilots, like you don't think twice, like you don't question
They know what they're
their
doing.
stability, their mental health. But now I just feel like the climate that we're in,
Right.
more and more stories
people
are
snap.
surfacing of these people that you've just always blanketed as trustworthy people. There's just scary stuff happening, and now you're climbing on a plane and you're hoping the mental stability of the pilot
Is okay.
and that he's resting and
Yeah.
not drinking between flights and not pulling a 24-hour situation. It's just everybody's.
But you just don't know.
You don't know.
And that's
You
what's
don't know.
really scary about that. I was taking a flight one time on Southwest, And this is the time where you were corralled in A, B, and C.
Yep.
So here come the pilots, and someone in corral A at the time sees the pilots going by, and the passenger said offhandedly, "Let's have a good flight." And one of the pilots stopped and looked at him. He goes, "I have a vested interest in landing the plane safely too."
Love it.
I said, "That's such
That's
a
a very
great
good point.
That
Thank
is
you.
such a great
Speaking
answer."
of corrals and boarding, I
All right.
heard that United is going to change their
Yes.
boarding procedures so that it actually makes sense.
The people
where
that
they're going to be
have
boarding the people on window seats first, then
Yep.
the middle rows second, and then the
How long
aisle
it took
rows
to figure
third.
that out.
And if they really wanted to do it smart, the back of the plane to the
Back
front.
Some,
Well,
Thank you.
some plane,
I
some
forgot
airline
what-
already does that.
I forget which
They load
airline
from
it
the
was,
back.
but I've done that before, where
Yes.
they board the people in the back of the plane
Which
first.
makes
and
more
they move
sense.
forward.
Right.
First
But-
class goes first,
But the flight
and then the back of the
flight
plane.
attendants are sort of guarding the overheads in the
Yeah, I noticed.
saying, no, bring your overheads to the back where you're sitting.
Yeah,
Because otherwise people start stowing their overheads in
the front,
in
and
the
then
back
they
of the
walk
plane.
to the back.
Right.
Well, in our flight a couple weeks ago to Salt Lake, I bought the plane tickets, so it was Kelly and myself, and you bought them at the same time. I was in loading corral C, and she was in loading corral D. Same row, same seats next to each other, and we're in two different loading sections, and that's probably what it was. It's probably I was on the aisle and she was in the
versus
middle.
middle.
So,
Yeah.
but interesting. I was like, well, we kept saying, why are we two different
Yeah,
loading sections? But that
But
was
it makes, going from the outside in makes
Right.
that
perfectly
makes
good
perfect sense.
Yep.
It does.
They say it's going to save like 10 to
Minutes?
15 no, seconds
Oh,
for the process. But that's critical apparently.
Yeah.
I'm more of the germophobic side of me is saying that always made sense. Why would you not load from the back forward just because you think about everybody sitting and everyone walking by you and the coughing and the hacking and the standing over and the waiting for the bags to go up. There's so much spreading of stuff happening there. At least this will be a little better process.
I did see an analysis, one of those reels on Facebook where a guy was explaining how they change certain things, components of what they serve on planes and what they allow, and even the tray that the flight attendants use to get down the aisle, and how as they've changed them up, if they drop this much weight, and it's just like a few pounds, how much fuel it saves for the jet, and how much fuel it saves for the whole airline.
Right. And
for
over
a
the course
year.
of the year, it's like
It's incredible.
millions
What you
and
drop
millions
2
of
pounds on a
Right. That's
tray,
interesting,
on a
yeah.
beverage cart.
now
is gonna
Melissa,
save you,
you do this when you get on the airplane because I've seen this.
I feel like
From
you already know I
ex-flight
do. Whatever
attendants.
you're going to
Well, no,
ask, I feel
you know,
like
they always hand you the moist towelette.
yeah.
They said you don't really have to wipe down the tray because that gets wiped down all the time. What you need to wipe down is your headrests
Yep.
in the window if you're on the window seat.
Oh, good point. I never
Because
thought of the
people
window.
lean against the window and fall asleep, and no one thinks to
I haven't
do
thought
that.
of the window. I am that mom
My
that
wife is
has
the-
my Clorox wipes
Yep.
packed, and I
All
do
right.
the full armrest between us. I do the tray in front of us. I can't say I've done the headrest behind me, but I have had
Sure,
the
the window.
Well, now.
heebie-jeebies about lice and stuff like that in the past. Where
right.
and the same thing with the movie theater. I do the same process at the movie theater.
My wife
Down.
used to do it when we did, like true mom she is, used to do that whenever we'd fly, and we used to make fun of her.
Oh,
Like,
my
why
kids,
are you
they
wiping the
absolutely
tray
make fun
down?
of me.
My friend Peter, when we used to fly, he would like open the tray down and like go to lick the tray. And she would get all skeeved out and everything. Then COVID hit, and the next thing you know, the next time we flew, everybody in the whole plane had their own little thing of
Yeah.
wipes, and they're wiping
Yeah.
everything down.
It's a
and I'm
real
like,
thing.
All right, well, maybe.
And they
you
do
might
tell you
as
to keep your shoes on the plane because if you end up using the restroom on the plane,
Yeah.
that's not water on the floor.
I feel like you shouldn't even have to tell people to keep their shoes on.
You
That's
do,
just
but you do
awful.
have to tell some people
well. Yeah.
because they wear the sandals or the Crocs and they immediately kick them off.
They do
and
that so they can get through the security line faster.
yeah,
That's true.
I guess,
I
guess
could
so.
never and would never wear flip flops on a plane, no matter what temperature or where I'm going.
No,
I,
always
Pre-check.
closed-toed shoes.
Pre-check.
All right, so that's what went on with Alaska Air, and I'm glad this guy and good thinking by the pilots that got this guy, and he was arrested. He was charged with 83 counts of attempted murder.
Right?
Well, yeah, it must have
Because
been
there's 83 people on the plane. That's
Right.
right. Along with, interfering
Yeah.
with the flight crew and like that. He pled not guilty, by the way.
Yeah, the effect of the mushroom is going to lower that. He's just
Oh,
going to
yeah.
have to. He's just going to have to find a new job.
Yeah, you can't.
Hopefully
You're not,
something-
you're not
something
flying
else.
with us anymore.
Maybe flying for UPS, where he's the only guy flying.
Oh, all right, there you go.
I don't think he'll be flying passengers.
Yeah, there won't be
anytime
I did
soon.
appreciate the fact that they did, 84 counts against him for every single passenger on the
On the
plane.
plane.
I hadn't thought of that till they announced it. And I'm like, oh, absolutely right. He
Tried to
The
kill
risk of every
everybody.
single life.
Yeah.
All right, this message is for John. Was called in.
Uh-oh.
It just could just follow up on these real estate transactions
Uh-oh.
in the city of Woonsocket. Place at 203 Arnold Street for $162,000. Steve Dantorio is selling it, and then there's the place R&K Building Corp is buying from the city of Woonsocket.
No, sold.
That's sold.
That was sold to the city of Woonsocket on Mendon Road.
Yeah, Mendon Road for 1.13 million.
The Arnold Street was bought as a house that is to be, I believe, the one we're talking about at the bottom of the hill is the one that the city is in the process of relocating all of the tenants and going to be demolishing the building and turning that whole corner into likely some availability for commercial development between River Street and Arnold Street on the Sales Street one-way section. The Mendon Road, we're still collecting information on because nobody on the council had any awareness whatsoever. The mayor signed a purchase and sale agreement last April without council approval to buy the property for $1.13 million. They then closed on it, and the reason it came up is because they closed on it on October 6th, and it appeared in Saturday's Providence Journal with a ton of people seeing it. I would have seen it earlier, but my grandchildren were here, so I didn't get to see the paper early in the morning. But a ton of people saw it, and all of a sudden the emails were flying around, and it was the talk of the town, as it were. Apparently they closed on it, the settlement agreement, so I asked for copies of documentation associated with it, and other council people have asked.
Have you received that email?
Yes, I've received a copy of the purchase and sale agreement. I've received a copy of the closing document, and the property is like 40% wetlands. It is in a residential zone. It is actually 2 lots owned by R&K Builders, which is the same gentleman who owned the property at Holly Springs, and it has an assessed value of less than $200,000, and yet, without consulting with the council or getting the required, as by charter, required approval of the council for any purchase over $100,000 or any contract over $100,000, which a purchase and sale agreement is, the mayor unilaterally and without consultation with even the solicitor acquired a property for $1,130,000.
That was valued at $200,000.
That was valued by the tax assessor at $200,000, is almost 50% wetlands, so it has very limited development capabilities. The owner had previously gone to do some development back in the late 90s, but never actually followed through. And it's property between the houses on Mendon Road and the Plaza Village property up on Mendon Road. But the big concern now and what is being done, and I don't want to prejudge anything, there is a massive call for a collection of documentation, and at some point there will be a demand for an explanation as to why it was done in violation of the city charter, which everybody knows and everybody in the administration is fully aware of, and also the city finance director wrote a check for $1,130,000 without the documentation to support a council consultation or approval to spend over $100,000 on a single purchase. So
More to
sort
come.
of, I'm sort of deadpanning this because I don't want to sound like I'm getting emotional about it, but it's a serious matter. It's going to require a thorough investigation. And it's, frankly, if you looked at all of the documentation associated with the Arnold Street issue, it's the Arnold Street issue was all done in consultation with the council and approval of the council, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's what is called for by our city charter, which is backed by the state constitution that endorses everything in it, including the obligation to get council approval if you're going to spend over $100,000.
All right.
So we will have to see where that goes. keep your ears open, keep your eyes open, and
like that.
like that, as David says.
All right. All right. Thanks for the explanation there, John. Melissa, it's time for a second message from the St. Antoine communities. We'll take a break and then come back with more.
Right. So obviously, St. Antoine community is on the receiving end of so many generous donations for various community projects and supporting resident needs. So we like to do our part in giving back to the community that is so generous to us. So we are, for the month of October, which is nearing an end, collecting socks, not worn, brand new, original packaging, please, to support the Community Care Alliance and the homeless population in the Woonsocket area. So if you're interested in supporting this, you can drop off your donations at either of our locations at St. Antoine Community, 10 Rhodes Ave or 400 Mendon Road, or graciously enough, Navigant Credit Union has offered to have a container at their location on Park Square. So any of those locations before the 31st, if you can swing by and drop them off, we would greatly appreciate it. And we will be making the drop off on November 1st to Community Care Alliance. So thank you for your support as always.
I'm assuming these are all adult socks and not children's
Actually,
socks?
all ages.
All ages, okay.
All ages. Yep.
All right. Very good, Melissa. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank
More
you.
Coffee and coming your way. We ask you to please stick around.
Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal real special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogi with onions and dirty sour cream, or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported goods. We're open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 9 to 6, Wednesdays 9 to 5, and Saturdays 8 to 5. Follow us on Facebook to learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street in Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
Hey, do you like good time Halloween music? I'll take that as a yes. Cruz and Bruce here, inviting you to join me for our special ON Radio Halloween block party this Saturday from 4 to 7. I'll fill all 3 hours with ghoulish tunes and other haunted fun while I invite you to call in and suggest your favorite. Got a Halloween party going on? I'll provide the perfect background for you. Join me for the fun this Saturday at 4. No costume required with ON Radio.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
WOON Woonsocket Radio.
All right, it is Coffee and on ON. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with John Ward, Melissa Smith, and Tim Draper. And under the category of, what is wrong with people? This is...
The theme for the show, actually. I feel like everybody comes back to that.
But Pawtucket police arrested a Pawtucket woman. She's accused of throwing a 2-year-old child into the road.
Stop it.
During a domestic disturbance. This happened Monday afternoon. Elba Montero, she's 26, charged with first-degree child abuse, domestic simple assault, and disorderly conduct. This happened on Samuels Avenue shortly after officers arrived on Samuel Avenue, shortly after receiving the 911 call regarding an altercation in which a toddler was injured. Police said Montero had assaulted a man as well as a passerby who was trying to intervene. The passerby told officers Montero tossed the child onto the pavement during the altercation, according to police. Police said that the passerby's accusations were corroborated by nearby surveillance footage.
So did she pick the kid up and throw him, or just push him?
I didn't see the footage, but
What are we
they're using
talking
the word
about?
thrown. But
We're
it's
talking about people
two.
snapping
It's a 2-year-old.
I know.
And she was arraigned on Tuesday morning, and she got She was granted $25,000 surety bail. So, and the toddler had to go to Hasbro Children's Hospital.
I hope so. I hope that
For,
child gets
checkup.
And that child
temporary
end up in-
custody.
And then
And they get sent right back to her.
I assume in DCOF care after that,
Doesn't say.
although they don't have enough staff to
They
take
don't,
care of them.
or
Yeah.
families,
anyway.
foster families.
It makes you wonder who she. There's the passerby, but there's another person that she assaulted. Is that the baby's father? Or it could be in his custody now, or whatever.
Who knows?
Yeah,
But the whole thing is just sad.
it is. And is
To
it?
Melissa's point, what is going on?
I don't know. And is it to the point where I'm mad at you, and if you don't cut it out, I'm going to hurt the child. And you don't cut it out, so I throw the child into the street.
I mean,
Which
unless
makes
there
no
was,
sense.
I mean, we always talk about theories. It could be some relationship matter. Maybe she was trying to save the child and get the child out of the vehicle. I don't know. Who knows? But all in all, the 2-year-old is the victim, and it's awful. It's awful.
And we had a story on the front page of today's call where boyfriend, girlfriend, ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend kind of thing, where they were out having a few drinks and having a conversation, and he asked to come back to the house, I guess the apartment they used to share, and she said, yeah, he could come back just to use the bathroom, and then she was trying to kick him out. Now he's pounding on the door, trying to get back in after he left, and she had to call the cops because he just wouldn't leave.
Should never have let him in to begin with.
Right.
She was being nice.
Yeah, there we go.
His bathrooms in
Anyone,
the Cumberland
I
Farms.
must have missed the story about Pawtucket High School, the student that was stabbed. What happened
That
with
was East
that
Providence.
story?
Oh,
Or
East
East Providence.
Providence.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What happened? I was just up at the school last night actually for a soccer game, and someone was talking about it. But so a student got stabbed
By another
in school?
student.
By
Yeah,
another
well,
student.
Yeah, somebody let the student in through the back door, and then the student found this other student and stabbed him. So there was like there had to be some precipitating event.
Yes, that led up to this.
Because the school's locked down. You can't get in there unless
Yes,
somebody lets you in.
in.
So
Yeah.
a student let another person in who came into the school and stabbed the student. A student.
Now, don't they have cameras up,
Yeah.
looking at the doors?
I think
so
they
you
caught
know
the
which
kid.
student
Taj
let him in?
Mahal
Yeah,
of
they
all
caught the
high
kid. They-
schools, to be honest.
Right.
After
East Providence is
watching
nice.
that
Taj Mahal,
property, I was like, unbelievable.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And
It is.
that's they have cameras everywhere, and I think they got the kid that did it. They got
They
the
did.
kid that let him in. So they've got,
they did.
they got
Okay.
everybody. The
I just
question is,
assumed the story
why?
was favoring the kid that had gotten stabbed, only because there was a follow-up story that I guess the PC Friars men's basketball team was
Went and visited
visiting
him.
him at the
Yeah.
hospital, and I thought,
Nice.
is that jumping the gun? Like, do we know the whole story, or is it assumed that he was an innocent kid that got stabbed and this was a nice thing?
Well, I
that
think
they
it was
did?
targeted.
Yeah.
Targeted.
And maybe the one that got stabbed is on the East Providence High basketball team.
Maybe. Yeah, I didn't know if you knew more juice, but I guess
No,
not.
I just read about that the PC team went to go visit him to cheer
Yeah.
him up. So
Please.
that was nice. That was nice of them. So speaking of, back to nice high schools, John, you were there when Lincoln High got their whole upgrades. I know you're not the finance director in Lincoln anymore, but they've got a couple of bonds on their ballots coming up.
Yeah, they're talking
The elementary
about-
schools want new gyms, new cafeterias, new classrooms.
The elementary schools have these cafetorium things where you've got the students.
Cafeteria, gymnasium.
But their
All in one.
space is not really sufficient, and they can't really do gym classes with the cafeteria use and all of that. It gets complicated, so they're going to be looking to put additions on the elementary schools to put a gymnasium on so that the cafeteria will be a cafeteria. It'll free up some space. Otherwise, there may be some classroom work added or lab or something. So they're going to be having a bond question related to that educational facility stuff, and separately they're going to be looking to do a combined rescue station. There's currently 2 older facilities on Albion Road and on Front Street, and they want to combine them centrally located near Town Hall across the street, and then put some kind of community center in place too in the same area.
The first bond is $25 million. The second one is $14 million. Is that?
Yeah, the
little
25
too
million
steep?
though. The 25 million may be more affordable because it's going to have, they say, about a 50% reimbursement from the state. 14 million will strictly be out of pocket, but it's going to be covered by the time it all gets finished and the bonds are actually issued, will be close to the time where the middle school bond that was just beginning when I started working there will be expiring and paid off, and so the debt service payments for that can then be shifted over to paying for this new work. So it should not have
So you
a
think it'll-
significant detrimental effect to the tax rate.
So you think it'll pass then?
There'll be some increase. I suspect it will pass.
Both of them.
It depends on how good a marketing job the school department and the town does. But in a special election, these things tend to pass and tend to be overwhelming, and especially if the parents
Get
are
behind it.
persuaded to get behind it,
Yeah.
because some populations don't show up for special elections. But if you motivate the people who have an interest in the outcome, they'll show up and pass it. So I expect it'll both pass.
All right.
Cumberland just did it. They just added.
They
They
did.
just had all the elementary schools got their refresh, some classroom spaces. Ashton's probably the biggest, and then Cumberland Hill and Community. But now they're talking
I know,
about a bond for.
community had the problem with the paint.
Yeah, I know. Crazy. And then they're looking to put a brand new school in BF Norton. They're looking to finally
Yes.
take that school
Oh,
down.
thank goodness.
Or knock it down
Put
completely.
knock it down and put a brand new school in the
They
back.
need
Well, it's only 1,000 years old.
Right.
It
My
is.
dad went to high school there, for God's sake. So you know where the baseball field is
In
in
the
the
back,
back,
yep.
right? They're going to build the new school there.
All right.
And then raise the other one when they were done.
Wow.
Yeah, that
I mean,
was
it's-
one of the considerations when they were doing the renovations at Lincoln High School, when the first conversation started about a new building. One of the thoughts was, all right, we'll leave the building in place, use the other half of the property for the new building, and then tear down the other one.
Yeah.
But that didn't turn out to be.
John, do you hear anything about what they're going to do with the
rational.
press box that fell over?
Oh my goodness!
In
That
the-
I
in
was
those
there the
strong
other
I
winds.
night.
assume pick it up, but
Well, they've already done
they
that.
have some grandstand stuff. Anchor it better. I think, you put something like that up and you think, oh, that's never going to have a problem, and then the wind comes.
Yeah.
But the grandstands will have to be replaced because a lot
Completely?
of those are bent out of shape.
Wow.
I would think
It
so.
is-
They think
Money,
they come
money,
in
money.
units.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think they
It's
replace
a
the
pretty
individual
big
seats.
section in the middle that
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
taped off. So as spectators, you're very
Off to the
Off
sides.
to the
huh?
edges.
Yeah.
All right.
I do love the setup of that field. I've said it before. I love the fact that on nights I don't feel like talking to other parents if I have a game there. You can sit. Oh, come on. You've all been there as parents.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you just can't handle the.
Drama?
Oh, it's just too much. Everyone's kid is getting college scholarships and
Oh,
going
yeah,
professional.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
They're all going to be pros.
So you just can't sometimes deal with it. So if you had a bad day at work, you just want to sit in your car. And you can do that at the Lincoln Field.
Yeah,
It's
if they-
awesome. You
you're
pull right
parking-
up to the fence. You can see right down onto the field beautifully. It's wonderful. If it's cold, whatever. I just love the
Yes.
design, and I wish that we had done something similar because it is really pretty awesome.
If only if that was intentionally done.
That was done by necessity.
And the backdrop of the foliage behind it, it's very picturesque. It was well done, even if it wasn't the
It's all John's idea.
executed the exact way you wanted it to be. I think it is fantastic.
No, it was their good fortune to place it the way they did.
All right. On another note, Tim, Joe Biden's name will not be on the New Hampshire ballots because they're mad.
How can
Because
they do
they like to be the first state to vote.
that? Right.
Oh,
South
he changed that.
South Carolina is
Yeah.
now the first state to vote, so New Hampshire's mad, so they're taking him off the ballot.
Well, good for them. We all express our displeasure in certain ways.
Yeah,
And that's
and
their way of doing
their
it.
way of doing
but I
it.
thought that if he got enough signatures, they had to put him on the ballot.
Well, I wonder what the law is on that.
Yeah.
I don't
mean,
know.
The governor just can't go, "Huh, I'm not putting him on the ballot.
I'm still staggered. I think I remembered saying on this show some time ago that Jim Jordan would never be the speaker. And
You were right.
Sure
That's
enough,
right.
never the speaker.
never.
The problem is they can't
But
find
it
a
was
speaker.
because of the effect of Trump. Now I'm finding out that anyone else will never be the speaker because Trump won't allow it. And
Right.
that's proven out by what happened yesterday with the fellow that was supposed to be in the nomination. And then at 2:00, Trump made a Truth Social
Yeah.
post
He didn't like him.
and then made a phone call. And by
So
5:00,
sad.
he was out.
Yeah.
He
But now
pulled-
the
he
new
pulled out.
guy from Louisiana.
It doesn't matter. He won't get the votes
won't get
because
it
the
either.
moderates won't support him, just like Jim Jordan. Anybody that Trump supports, there's going to be a block of people
What
that won't
do you
vote
think?
support
Do you
him.
think what's going to happen is the Democrats are going to go, okay, now we've let them
Right.
be idiots enough, so we're going to help them get the person that we think we should have, and they'll find a moderate, and then they'll all support that moderate, and then
Right.
all those other Republicans.
And then Trump and his crazies will go out and primary those people next year
Yep.
on the premise that they are rhinos and they conspired with the Democrats to take away the voice of the people.
But they would
Where
have
I
been.
heard
Wouldn't
that
they have
term,
been?
Take
Wouldn't they
away
have
the
been?
voice of the people.
Wouldn't they have been thrown out the last time though? Wouldn't they? Because didn't Trump try that already? And
He
and
did,
those-
and he
and those-
lost. He lost all over the place.
Right. So if he tries to do it again, it doesn't mean it's
Well,
going to work. He
depends
may
on-
try to primary them, but they may not be
No,
successful
it's-
because
well,
I think
he
people are
lost
sick
bec-
of him.
He lost because he won. He won the primaries, and then his candidates were
Lost.
so bad they
Right.
lost, and that's why the Republicans have this problem.
So if
now.
he wants to really
So-
flip the House Democrat, that's one way to do
if
it.
he wants to burn the house down,
Right.
then he primaries everybody and convinces people that the rhinos need to go.
Yep.
And he wins them all, and then the Democrats win all those races.
It-
and then you have a huge majority of Democrat
Right.
Congress, and who knows who will be the president because
Yeah. Right.
I'm still with Nikki Haley myself.
Yeah.
All right.
Too, actually.
We have to take a break on the Coffee and program. More coming up. Note to get to as well. Call them in, 766-1240. Time for the weather forecast being brought to you by Compassion International.
Mostly sunny skies today with a high of 72 degrees. Tonight, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 53. Thursday's weather, mostly sunny with a high of 75. Friday, mostly sunny and 74. Saturday, sunshine and 78. Sunday, mostly cloudy with a high of 62. Monday, partly sunny and 63. And next Tuesday, partly sunny and 52 degrees.
Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street with sunny skies, we do have 51 degrees. Drought, war, and rising food prices have devastated families in poverty. $50 provides a food kit to feed a family for a month. Just text the word radio to 97646.
For an Allstate agent, providing protection options that fit your life is something they take, well, personally. Allstate agents are committed to learning about your needs and helping customize protection to meet them. From bundling your home and auto insurance with ease to evaluating optional coverage, your Allstate agent can help build an insurance proposal that fits your life. And just as important as learning what you need is learning what you don't. Because helping you get coverage you want with savings you deserve is what Allstate is all about. It's time to get coverage that's catered to you. Are you in good hands? Call Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, two locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. One telephone number, 765-5000. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Dr. Jeffrey Dodge suggests you brush up on your brushing technique. Choose a soft toothbrush. Brush from side to avoid irritating your gums. Select a non-abrasive toothpaste, and you can even brush your tongue to help control bad breath. Brush especially after eating sticky foods like peanut butter, bananas, chewy candy, and dried fruit. Dr. Jeffrey Dodge, your family dentist on Park Avenue at Park Square, 762-3044.
It's time to get out the vote for the very best of the BlackstoneValley.com, presented by Landmark Medical Center. Got a favorite burger, favorite gym, a doctor, place to shop? Vote for them and more at the bestoftheblackstonevalley.com now until November 1st. Show your support for the local businesses in the Blackstone Valley and let your voice be heard by voting for the businesses you love. Vote now through November 1st, daily, once a day, at bestoftheblackstonevalley.com.
It is Coffee Ed on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with John Ward, Melissa Smith, and Tim Draper. And Tim, time for our first message from Navigant Credit Union.
Well, in addition to the pink that I'm wearing for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, it's also Cybersecurity Month, folks. So my two spots will be talking a little bit about risk and preventing risk and all that stuff. And I want to say that Microsoft tells us that 4,000 password attacks happen every second.
Wow.
Every second. So how do you prevent problems with your password? And I know that people get real frustrated. They got frustrated with us when we made them do dual factor authentication, where you have to do two things to sign into your accounts. But trust me, that's the easiest thing you can do and the best thing that you can do. But what should you do to avoid a bad password? Don't use the same password multiple times for multiple accounts. Don't use easy to guess passwords such as summer23. Don't reuse old passwords or slightly changing one by one character. Ooh, I'm guilty of that.
Oh my God. How else do you keep track of them,
Don't
though?
use your, well, you got to use your keepers. Don't use your, using your name, date of birth, address, children's names. Don't do that.
No.
Singular words in the dictionary like picnic, 1, 2, 3. That's not a real good one. Don't use keyboard patterns. But what can you do that are really best practices for passwords? Your password really should be at least 12 characters in length. 12. So just think of a few different words to put together and maybe throw some, well, we'll talk about that in a second. A combination of upper, lowercase numbers, special characters in random orders are the best. Complexity or completely unique passwords for all your accounts. Don't use the same password for your online banking and for your Hulu account. Using a passphrase or string of words and mixing numbers or special characters for complexity. Happy pumpkin in summer and using special characters in there for letters. And most importantly, never share your password with anybody, regardless of who they are or who they say they are. You can share them with your family, but not even then. Be careful of that too, because we've had that situation. So just some safety tips about passwords from Navigant Credit Union. We want to protect you and keep you safe and make you hold on to your money.
We had a story yesterday, Tim, about cybersecurity, and some company did a survey, casinos.org or something like that, and Rhode Island came in number one the best in cybersecurity in the United States with a perfect 100 for 100 score.
Wow. I'd like to know. I'd like to see that and see how they.
I'd like to see how they got it like that.
Right. But you know what? We talk about it all the time, but lots of people talk about password security and cybersecurity here in Rhode Island, and I know that the businesses in Rhode Island are doing. We all know what's at stake, and it's not good.
Wisconsin came in last with 0 out of 100. Everyone there uses cheese.
Cheese 1, 2, 3, cheese whiz. Yeah, that doesn't actually
It's
count.
so hard to keep track of.
Yes.
Right.
And then also because so many logins now prompt you to change them every X
Right.
number of months. I mean, on a regular basis, I'm resetting my password because I forget constantly.
So I use a program called Keeper, and it's a one. I use a very complex password to get into this Keeper app, but inside the app, all of my passwords.
Wow.
And all the usernames. And it's actually, as you can see, I have an awful lot
What's
of
the
passwords.
complex login that you have to get into the
I
Keeper?
can't tell you that, Melissa, but it's a combination. It's a combination of letters, numbers, and special characters, more than 12.
Oh, God.
This is funny. I was at Canterbury Lake Park one time, and I rented a locker there. Of course, they were all keypads for lockers. And so after we put our stuff in there and I closed it and locked it up, I turned to my wife and said, by the way, the combination is our PIN number for our ATM card. She's like, don't say that. I said, I'm not telling you what the number is. I'm telling you what I'm using.
You should know that number.
That you should know. No. She goes, but other people are going to hear it. And I turned to a complete stranger. What's my PIN number?
Oh
I don't know. There we go. We're all set.
Proof right there. It's excellent.
All right.
Joe, what's my PIN number? I don't know.
All right, to John, that property on Mendon Road. Do you have the address?
It's really just 0 Mendon Road, and I think one of them is maybe 256 or something. I don't remember the exact address. As I said, there's a right-of-way coming off of Mendon Road going up the hill behind the houses. It's actually behind all the houses.
Yeah.
And
So right now it's 0?
It's lots 53-1 and 53-32, and it's between the Plaza Village property and the house lots on Mendon Road. There's a space that the people that bought Plaza Village and developed it didn't use, and it's really 0 Mendon Road. But I think there is an address on one of them because he had applied for permission to build on one of the lots, and I'm guessing 256. It's an even number. It's about that number. Up towards the entrance, like 4 houses down from the entrance to Plaza Village is where the right-of-way is, the roadway, so to speak.
Okay.
I think it's called Hudson Street. It's a paper street.
All right. By the way, my PIN number is not 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm a little more original
Of course,
than that.
it's your birthday and your wedding.
4-3. It's 4-3-2-1.
So the arraignment for the head men's basketball coach at Bryant University has been postponed till next week. This is just a crazy story.
Speaking of the other guy, he's got some mental issues
A
there.
thing that's going on. Jared Grasso is charged with misdemeanor failure to stop for an accident resulting in damage stemming from an October 1st incident on Route 146. Grasso is alleged to have struck a vehicle near the West Acres interchange, but kept going. Police traced the vehicle to Grasso, which has since been placed on leave by the school.
Not since, before.
Before it.
Before?
They placed him on leave before.
Before the
Before
accident?
the accident, yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Like 2 or 3
okay.
days
There was
before
already
the
some
accident.
stuff happening.
Yeah, so I mean,
It's
and I think
almost-
Bryant must now be in like a pickle, right? Because they can't look
It's
at him.
almost
Melissa, 'cause she
basketball
knows-
season to start.
Right. Well, they
So
have their
what are they gonna
assistant.
do?
They have their assistant coach that's going to run the
Stepping
team,
up.
from what I understand.
All right.
Whose father is a basketball coach or something.
Oh, I don't think I heard that,
Yeah.
but okay.
But anyway, I guess he's not a bad he's not a bad coach. He's a pretty good coach.
The assistant?
The assistant.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens. But I bet Bryant's in a real pickle that they can't do
yeah.
anything with Grasso yet because he's now not only was he on leave, but now he's in this other mess. So they probably can't get
So
rid
we
of him.
can't fire him?
Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know what the
I
HR
wonder if
rules
he's
are.
on like an unpaid leave, though. I wonder if there's.
You know what?
Yeah.
He's the guy that brings that edge that I'm not sure is the right edge to the team, because if we remember the Wagner game a couple years ago on national television when they had the brawl in the stands,
Yep.
that was one of his teams.
Yep.
And it was one of the kids he brought in who was like a super player.
Yeah.
Came in off that
Arrogant,
transfer
though.
wire. But he was a punk everywhere he went.
yeah.
And when he came to Bryan,
still
he
a
was a
punk.
punk.
Yeah.
And Grasso's strikes me, and I don't know him at all.
He likes that
strikes me
kind
as a
of
bit
player.
of a punk
All right.
as a coach.
100%.
So
Yeah. there's like a
there's a vibe, right? You get, and so I think that I just think it was not great all the way around. And
the video footage, if you've seen it or not, I don't know who at this point hasn't watched the full 30 minutes because it was excellent entertainment.
right,
Even my 13-year-old was like,
poor Bill Smith, man, I felt
"Oh
so
my
bad for
gosh,
him.
I
Oh,
know." And I mentioned to you that we're good friends with Bill and John, the two guys that run the department, and we're just staying away. We're
Yeah,
just like, you know,
right.
because
I
they
mean,
got
you're in
they're knee deep.
Yeah.
But it's just, I find it curious to see if more comes out about the little bombs he threw in the video about even Blackie's restaurant and, you know, meeting with management. And he was throwing in details that had nothing to do at all with why the officer was there, or a chain of events that was taking place over that course of the whole weekend.
Right.
And it just, I feel like there's going to be more to the story.
it
And,
almost sounds like he's having a mental breakdown.
Yes, or he's involved in something
Right.
very, you know,
Nefarious, perhaps.
yeah, we won't get into the whole story, but I remember being a kid living in Smithfield growing up, and at the time there was an athletic director who I knew very well, a friend of the family, was caught up in like a gambling ring, was betting against the school. Do you remember this?
Yeah, I do. Yep.
Yeah.
But that would be cause for immediate termination if he
And
was.
so
Well, if there's
I'm
any
not saying that
investigation,
there
they
was
suspend
even
him
gambling.
first.
I'm just
Right.
like, and I don't want to insinuate anything.
right.
I don't know
This is
anything.
all speculation,
This is all
folks. Right, all
speculation. It's just that
speculation.
there's enough in the sports world. There's enough temptation for wealth. And whether you're an administrator or you're a coach or you're a player, there's all those temptations. That's why there's so many, you know, laws involved now in the NCAA. But
But now the kids can get their image and likeness, get some
Yeah.
money from their ILL. So that's
right,
being very interesting to see how that pans out
it'll
over time.
be. I just there's just some weird little like nuggets in that whole 30 minutes that I kept thinking this could mean this could mean that,
Right.
this could. But I was surprised to see how young he is. I thought he was
Oh,
older than
yeah.
he is. He's only 43.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought he was older. Than
And
that,
I saw that in the article. I'm like 43.
Wow.
He's aged, and it might be stress, and it might be some stuff
right.
going on, right?
We'll find out as
I
time
have
goes
only
by.
one comment on this.
All right, go ahead, John.
I think they need to pass a state law that makes it a crime when being approached by a police officer to get out of your car and say, "Do you know who I am?"
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It should be.
That should be a criminal charge.
Right.
That should be.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
I don't say that. I say, "Do you
under-
know this guy?"
Under stupid things.
Yeah, under stupid.
All right. The other things going on. They're up in Massachusetts. They are still looking for this man in Gardner, Massachusetts, that's accused of killing his wife. And they found his car
Was this
in Gardner.
Like the soldier that has like special training to be in the
Yes,
woods?
he was in the Air Force, and they
Right.
don't know if
Survival
the training
training.
is
Yeah.
helping him stay not caught.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
so,
so
the-
he's missing and she's missing.
no, I think they got her. She's dead.
She's dead.
And he's a real.
She didn't go anywhere. She died.
She's a.
Okay,
he's a,
now I'm following. So
he's
she
a-
was found dead. He's
Yes,
missing.
and
They
he's
found
missing.
the car.
Yes.
Okay.
And so they scoured the woods, like 400 square miles in Gardner, Mass, and haven't found him. So they're telling the people in Gardner, you got to be vigilant and
Yeah.
lock the windows and doors because we haven't found this guy. We're not sure where he is.
Right.
Why do I have a
We
visual
think-
of Rambo?
We
That's
think,
kind of what I
Like
think too.
we
I'm
think
picturing
he's
him
in
in the woods
yeah.
with like a machine gun.
We
and,
think he's in the area, but we're not sure. We can't
Oh,
find him
that's
yet.
awful.
So,
But if he now, this is going to sound horrible. He killed his wife. That sounds pretty targeted to me. So is the rest of the community unsafe, or are they just? I mean, is he going to go out and kill somebody else? I
Don't
guess?
anger him.
Don't anger him, right?
Just avoid him.
right.
the car belonging to the 33-year-old man wanted for the murder of his wife in Gardner the car has been found. State police said Aaron Pennington's white BMW was located around 5 p.m. yesterday in a wooded area on the Gardner-Ashburnham line. 30-year-old Breen Pennington was found dead in the couple's home Sunday morning. Authorities warned Pennington should be considered armed and dangerous.
How far is Gardner?
30 minutes.
Okay, good. This
So
is 30 minutes.
it's 30, 45 minutes up there past Worcester kind of thing.
By
But
foot, he
it's-
could be here in 2 days. So
It's kind of nearby.
lock your doors.
So just something to be aware of. So Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey, she was right on the Rhode Island line. She was down at the South Attleboro MBTA commuter rail, which is basically a ghost
Ghost town, right?
town. It's just
Fortunately, they took the over
Did they?
pantry thing off.
Oh,
Yeah, came down.
It is so ugly over
Well, it's
there.
ugly, but it's
So
unsafe.
bad.
Every time I drove over it, I looked
Yeah.
at all the rust. I'm like, that
Yeah.
thing's going to come down on somebody.
How have they
driving
not
it.
figured out a better route to get down to that shopping plaza? Like the fact that you have to wind through
Yeah, I know.
that whole
Yeah, I don't think that's
whatever
well designed.
Modelo. I don't know. There's some grocery chain.
There's a
corporate
market basket over there.
distribution, not the store. There's like
Across
just
the
a
street.
food. So you have to go through that little
Yeah.
angle and
Yeah,
then head
turn
into
at the
the
mobile station, go down and under the
train
train,
goes down.
But if
and
if you're on Route 1 and you had to take a left into that parking lot,
be a
it would be a nightmare.
that's true.
John
I don't know.
is raising his hand.
The
about
housing lot that you were talking about, asked the address about,
Squirrel.
it's 586 Mendon Road.
586 Mendon Road.
And then the
Okay.
other one is just Mendon Road for the larger lot.
Okay. Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
All right. But she was down there to talk about her commitment to reopening the South Attleboro
Oh,
T
good.
station.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
They have
really
the South
should.
Attleboro and the Attleboro
Why
T
did it
station now.
close? I don't know that I ever knew the reason for
Oh, it was unsafe.
It was because it was
The
unsafe.
pedestrian bridge was structurally unsound.
Yeah.
So the bridge has since been taken down, but plans for a new station remain stalled due to lack of funding.
So did you see that plaza just got sold for like $70 million?
They keep changing stores in that one.
Yeah, no, I just read it the other day that
70 million, wow.
an ownership group out of Dedham, I think, bought it. And I'm checking myself, why would you spend $70 million on a station? And I thought to myself, I wonder if the MBTA pays for all of those parking spots that they have. They've got
Rent?
like 300 or 400
Yeah.
Or
parking
maybe
spots.
they know something.
Does the plaza
is-
get a cut of those parking spots, I bet?
That
And
are not
so
being
all of a
used?
sudden, when the train station comes back online and the
Money.
parking lot's used,
Yeah.
there's
Revenue.
revenue. Because those spots were
I'm
full
sure they
all the
have-
time.
Wait, can
I'm
I
sure
go
they're
one
not
step
free.
further?
Yeah, well, I know from the MBTA, you have to pay for them to be in them.
Right, but I'm saying they can't be free for the MBTA
Right,
if they're
but-
collecting money off of the
Right,
spots.
but there's nobody using it now. Like, and there's no, I mean, the plan for the train station is there, but that's probably 2 or 3 years down the road before that station's rebuilt. So they buy it and they got to sit on it for a couple of years before they start getting that revenue back.
What's your
Unless-
one
So
step
this
further?
is you said it's a group out of Dedham.
I think they were out of Dedham, out of
Is
Massachusetts.
it? I'm in my mind saying
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Legacy Place up in Dedham area.
Oh, maybe.
Would
maybe
it
like
be
those
a
owners.
vision of if the train gets fixed,
They could build
whipping up
something
that
like
whole area? Because it is really
Maybe. It's a great spot.
obviously outdoor shopping is like the new way to go versus malls. Emerald
Mm.
Square Mall is
Dead.
needs to be blown up and
Yeah.
Start over.
put down.
It's going to be housing.
And
No,
I just
it'll
wonder
become
that
housing,
would be an
housing,
artery, right? With
Mm-hmm.
housing that whole like South Attleboro, can reach Rhode Island, can reach Mass,
Right.
train station, condos, like build up that whole area.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
And the train station
I'm
would
starting
be,
a rumor. Can we make that happen?
and the
thing.
train station is pivotal in that. I think it's great.
Yeah.
All right, break time once again on Coffee and. So it is time for a second message from Navigant Credit Union. Over to Tim Draper, please.
Joe, do you know what the Internet of Things is?
The what is?
The Internet of Things?
No, I don't.
So the Internet of Things refers to physical devices that connect to the Internet, which collects and transfers data for personal convenience. For example, Alexa, Siri, Google, the smartwatches, cameras, TVs, cars, toys, applications, everything that you have to have a username or password to connect to the Internet. So they call that the Internet of Things. And they're all, because they're online, there are certain tips that you should do about protecting yourself from the on the Internet of Things. So first thing you do is you got to do your homework on devices that you purchase or connect. Consider looking at the reviews of the product and determining if there have been any known security or privacy issues, because that's an important thing. Keep all security protocols and software current on anything that you have. So if there's an update available for your Nest thermostats in your house, make sure that you've got the latest and greatest software, because they're protecting you. Make sure your Wi-Fi security, because it is up to date, and it is really the gateway to the internet for all those Internet of Things in your house. Again, we talked about password security, and then more importantly, back everything up. If you can back your data up, pictures, songs, anything that you've got on the internet, back it up. And we always suggest backing it up to a device that you can unplug from your network. So you back it up, put it on a storage device, unplug it. Then next time you back it up, plug it back in. So just a few tips from Navigate Credit Union on how to protect yourself during this Cybersecurity Month. You can get more information at navigantcu.org, or if you want to give us a call, 233-4700, somebody will be there to pick up the phone and talk to you.
Very good, Tim, and more of the Coffee and program coming your way.
Most people believe in planning ahead for special events. It's also important to plan for the unexpected. The DePardo family and their caring professional staff at the S. DePardo Memorial Chapel Funeral Home will make you feel at ease when you're ready to pre-plan for yourself or someone else. Their beautiful Victorian-style facility at 1583 Diamond Hill Road includes a reception room, chapel area, and other amenities. Funeral arrangements and preferences differ with each individual. For more information about the S. DePardo Memorial Chapel Funeral Home, visit their website at sdepardomcfh.com. They're located at 1583 Diamond Hill Road, Woonsocket, 767-5577.
It's time to get out the vote for the very best of the BlackstoneValley.com, presented by Landmark Medical Center. Got a favorite burger, favorite gym, a doctor, place to shop? Vote for them and more at the bestoftheblackstonevalley.com now until November 1st. Show your support for the local businesses in the Blackstone Valley and let your voice be heard by voting for the businesses you love. Vote now through November 1st. Daily, once a day, at bestoftheblackstonevalley.com.
Hi, this is Tim Draper from Navigant Credit Union, reminding you to vote for us, Navigant Credit Union, in the best of the Blackstone Valley.
It is Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan here with Tim Draper and Melissa Smith and John Ward. And so we had the story about the woman in Pawtucket who allegedly threw her 2-year-old son into the roadway. Now we have this other woman out in Racine, Wisconsin. The prosecutors out there are moving ahead with charges against her. She's not sending her kids to school. They're 10 and 11.
Is she homeschooling them?
No.
She just doesn't want to send them to school.
The DA yesterday charged Alicia Quiroz with neglect for allowing her kids to miss more than 80 days of school 2021 and 2022. Investigators say Quiroz didn't send her 11-year-old and 10-year-old children to school on a regular basis. The two attended 3 different Racine schools over the last few years. Teachers told investigators that Quiroz's kids didn't know how to behave in school, were behind in learning, and almost never did their homework. Quiroz is facing just under 2 years in jail and a $20,000 fine.
So why would she not want to send the kids to school? That would be my first question.
Nah, you don't
She's
have to
out
go.
in Wisconsin.
She is in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Racine.
I mean,
Where did I hear that? Oh, yes.
Those
the
kids don't have a shot.
Untouchables. Racine came up in the Untouchables.
I mean, you have to. I don't know.
Kids
I don't
don't.
know. We're
I
gonna
don't like
build
it.
theories, but it's yeah. I think
I don't
some
like school, I
parents
don't
have
wanna
just
go.
surrendered
Okay.
and don't want to get those calls from the school every time they misbehave. No structure at home. Don't
Very
wanna deal
little
with the
structure at home.
responsibility of parenting.
Then shouldn't have been parents.
Don't like the curriculum.
How many days of school are there?
180.
180.
So you figure 80 days of attendance. They missed 100 days, or the other way around. But I mean, they still did go. So what was the?
They have missed.
final-
They have missed more than 80 days of school.
More than 80.
So they're going like once or twice a week.
Yeah.
If that.
Yeah.
They probably
When-
get
when
sent
they,
home,
when
too,
they feel
'cause
like
they don't know how to
it.
behave.
Well, they're
for
not
it to
behaving
reach the
correctly.
point that it did, there must have been some, approaches with a social worker and approaches with, I'm sure there were multiple steps leading up to the point of finally saying she needs to be jailed, or fined.
Yeah. Well, she might get jail. And
I don't think I even knew that as a parent that you could be fined or
for not
I didn't
taking-
either.
for not sending your kid.
Yeah.
Well, unless
Child
you're
abuse?
homeschooling them.
But I guess if
Yeah.
they're a
Child
minor,
neglect
right?
is
With
what
child
she's
neglect,
facing.
yeah.
But yeah, I guess if you can prove you're teaching them.
Well, could you make an argument that that's not really child neglect? You chose not to send them to school, but you're feeding them. You're putting a house over clothing on their backs and a house over their heads. And
But the teachers-
you're treating them fine at home. They just don't like school, so you don't think that they need it. So is that really?
But the
could be
teachers say
neglect.
they're behind in their learning.
Okay.
So if you're 11, you should know.
Right.
You should know
Wait a
your
minute,
multiplication
Wait a minute.
tables.
Based on state testing, that would constitute 70% of the student
I was
population.
just going to say that.
Right.
Yeah. There's a lot of
Here
details.
we go, right down the rat hole.
A lot of
Let's go.
details missing
So
from
who
this
are
story.
the teachers to say to complain about a parent having children that are behind?
Because it could totally be her putting her kids in a bubble because of a multitude of reasons, you know.
Find out if they're double
or
masking
if
the
it's
kids.
Yeah,
right. It could be a lot of
Could be
different things.
paranoia.
But if
They
they're
live
not
underground.
if they're not behaving well in school, it sounds like
Yeah.
they're just acting up, and I don't want to be here, run around,
Right. Send them
throw
home.
the desk around.
So that's your theory. What's
My
your
theory,
No,
yeah.
I just
My theory is the woman smokes a corncob pipe and sits on the porch with a shotgun.
Okay.
playing the theme from
That's kind of the
Deliverance over
visual
and
I
over.
had.
Like the woman in Outlaw Josie
Yeah.
Wales.
We don't know if she owns a farm and she needs the kids to help. Like we don't know. There's a lot missing from this story.
Well,
Right.
there is. But
So.
It's fun to speculate. But
yeah, but the cops are they're moving. The prosecutors are moving ahead with charges, so it must be pretty bad.
Must be bad.
So
We'll
they're
assume.
moving
because
forward.
it's people who think they know more than everybody else.
Well, this guy out in Vegas thought he was gonna have a good time. Out at
Oh,
the-
in Vegas.
out-
Why would you
yeah.
not think that?
And it's costing him a lot more money. A judge in Vegas has ordered the rapper Blueface. Are we all familiar with Mr.
Oh, yeah.
Blueface? And
Right up there, my playlist.
I thought you were serious. I was like,
What does he rap?
I
I
had to
don't-
look
Gifts?
at
I
you.
don't
You're like,
know.
oh yeah.
Of course I
he rhymes things. Community unity.
Oh.
Anyway, he has to pay more than
It's a modern version of Gregorian chant.
Yes.
Right.
He has to pay more than $13 million in damages to the owner of a now closed strip club in Vegas. Blueface, whose real name is Jonathan Porter, shot a man in the hand outside the Euphoric Gentlemen's Club in October of 2022. And earlier this month, Porter was sentenced to probation for the shooting. Late last year, the club's owner filed a lawsuit against Porter, saying his actions led to his license being revoked less than a week after the shooting. And Porter was ordered to pay for lost revenue and other damages. So his
Wow.
fun night out cost him $13 million.
So that strip club makes $13 million in a year. That's
Just
Well,
in
that's
case you're
damages to the
wondering, he does
building.
not have a blue face.
he does not have a blue
No.
face. Okay.
Now, where did they get these names from?
Does he have gold teeth?
I thought we were
that's
going to
the-
at least see like a blue
That's
tattoo or
why
something
I
on
always
his
love
face.
hearing their real names. What was his name? Jonathan
Jonathan
Porter?
Porter. They were very,
Nothing
very
more
benign.
American
Bob
than that.
Smith.
So he
Bob
gives
Smith, yeah.
So he gives up the rap, picks up an acoustic guitar, and starts singing folk songs, right?
I don't think.
So just so you know, his net
Except he
worth
probably can't sing.
What, it's probably
is
a lot.
only $4 million. He's not going to be able to
Only
cover
4
this.
million.
Wow.
Yeah, it's gonna
Better-
take a while.
Better start writing some new raps.
New songs, yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. In 2023, his estimated worth was around $7 million. So
Still can't pay for it.
couple years of
Still not enough.
concerts.
He must have
and
writ a new song.
That's
You writ.
insane. We don't even know who he is.
Well,
He
he's not-
doesn't have a blue
Jonathan
face.
Porter.
He's he's no Dr. Dre or
ra-
Snoop
ra-
Dogg
yeah.
or
DJ Khalid.
Bet you that's not
DJ
their real
Khaled.
names either. I wonder. I've never looked up Snoop Dogg's real name.
It's actually pretty. It's a pretty normal name.
Yeah, they're all.
I
pretty
like
common.
Snoop Dogg.
Oh, well,
Calvin.
you can like Calvin.
Calvin is Snoop
Calvin.
Dogg's first name. Calvin Cordozar Bordas Jr., known professionally
From
as
Compton.
Snoop Dogg. Yeah,
Calvin.
Calvin.
He doesn't look like a Calvin.
Yeah.
He looks like a Snoop
Somebody-
Dogg.
He looks like a
like a
Snoop
Snoop
Dogg.
Dogg.
It's awesome.
So he's a temperature.
He is quite an
grading
entrepreneur.
System named after a thermometer.
Do you guys? Does, that,
Happening in here today.
His brother Fahrenheit.
does anyone follow the DB
Sister
Cooper
Celsius.
case?
Oh, I love DB Cooper.
All right.
Jumped out of a plane. They can't find the money.
1971, DB Cooper hijacks a plane, ransomed the passengers, got $200,000, jumped out of the airplane with a parachute, was never found. In 1980, $5,800 traced to the heist was found, but not him.
Yep.
So now there's an amateur DB Cooper enthusiast says there are new details in the unsolved hijacking case. His name is Eric Eulis, and he claims new info is released by the Seattle air traffic controller who was on duty the day of the hijacking. And Eulis thinks he knows where the parachute may be. And if you want to know, you have to go to CooperCon, which is in Seattle, and pay some money to find out about it.
$25 entry fee.
Which is in Seattle next month.
Oh.
So they made a movie about that.
CooperCon.
Where's the?
Not to be confused with Cobra Kai.
That's right. CooperCon, I guess, is all stuff of dealing
All
with DB
DB Cooper.
Cooper.
That's where you'll go
stuff.
get conned
Out
by
of
the
your money.
scam around the DB Cooper,
Cooper,
thing,
right.
right?
Yeah.
And spend a lot of money so he
Are they
can
gonna
make
show you the
money to
$1,500
not
bucks?
find to open Jimmy Hoffa's safe.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly right. I was telling Dave about that. You know, Rhode Island Comic Con comes every November
Yeah.
to the convention
3
center.
days, right?
It's a 3-day event, a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And there's a whole list of celebs that come to this thing, but each one charges you
For their photo.
$60 for a photo and autograph.
Yeah.
That's with your phone. If you want a professional photographer, $75.
Well,
And if you don't want a photo or anything, move along. There's people behind you that are paying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're only going to get maybe 5 seconds with the.
That's why all those old celebrities
I'm
show
like,
up and do
wow.
that stuff.
I even told Barbara Eden will be there. Speaking of old celebrities,
Really?
I Dream of Jeannie.
I might go now.
But but
Pay
there's younger.
$60?
She's what?
Maybe.
80 what?
Yeah, she's
88.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still looks pretty good though for 88.
But if you're the guy that played C-3PO in
Yep.
the Star, he charges more because he's more of a star. So he's like $120.
Oh man. Wonder what
And,
Bill
but
Shatner would
people
charge.
line up to go to this stuff.
I heard you mention Billy Barty this morning.
It was his
Yeah.
birthday today.
You didn't mention his major film credit that I've always rememred him for.
Some.
Let me get it. Can I think? Is it the
Seems
Wizard
like,
of Oz?
No, it seems like old times.
Gwildor.
Gwildor.
In
What that is?
Masters of the Universe.
Oh, jeez.
No, he was too young to be in Wizard of Oz. Wizard of
I
Oz
thought he
came
was
out
one of
30.
the-
He would have been 10.
Yeah, but I thought he was in there for like as a child actor. No.
Well, maybe he is. Somewhere in the back. Just stand here
Yeah.
and act like a munchkin.
All you got to do is be sure.
Act like a munchkin. Yeah, he would have been a kid.
10. It would have been
Similar
fine.
to going to the Comic-Con, I find it fascinating that a lot of famous people are doing these video like clips things that you can pay for them to send you a birthday message
Yes.
or there's a lot of people paying a lot of money for those things.
Yeah, the cameos.
Isn't that
Right?
insane? But some of them
Yes,
are a
there
couple $100.
I know someone who did buy one where a wrestler.
A wrestler. I've
made
seen a few.
Did a promo for a birthday.
They
for
send
the
you a
kid
video?
with a message, and it's personalized.
Yeah.
But I've also seen an interesting one that schools are using now for fundraising, where they have an event where they're doing a fundraiser, and the parents are asked to participate and solicit for money. And I don't know if you guys, you must have at some point, is Dude Perfect? Never heard. Look at it.
Nope.
Wow, no.
It is like the largest thing across this country for kids in 3rd through 8th grade.
Oh, yeah, I can't do that.
Dude Perfect. They do it tours, they do events, they do
Is
all
it like
kinds
the
of things.
Wigglers? Like what's
And
happening?
it's like the Wiggles,
Okay.
except the
Okay.
next generation up. The
Now
older
we
generation
understand.
up.
Now I get it. The
And
Wiggles,
it's like 5 guys, and they do all kinds of strange things. And what they do is, when you want to use their promo material, you pay a fee and you submit a picture. And I think the schools are paying the fee to use it, and the parents each individually submit a picture of their child. And it's a promo, and they just call it, we're helping to raise money for this student. And the picture comes up with a photo in one of the guy's hands and stuff, and they filter the whole thing through around your student's picture, and then you send it out to all the people on Facebook and
How
Twitter
much
and
do
other
you pay for
social,
that?
Instagram. I have no idea, but they use it for fundraising for school.
That's it.
School
That's actually
programs.
kinda
Interesting idea. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Not
you
a
need
bad
to
idea.
look up Dude Perfect.
Dude, I'm going to look up
It's
Dude
like-
Perfect now.
I love that you're a
It's
grandpa
like
and you know this
Royals.
information. It's a different side of
I've
John.
had just so much of Dude Perfect, and my son brought them to an event that they had on a road event down in Virginia. It's kind of fun. They do a lot of fun things. They do a lot of ridiculous
He's
things.
a diehard.
All right. We got to go, though. That's
No,
enough Dude Perfect for
I watch
today.
it because that's what's on.
All right. That wraps it up for Coffee and for another Wednesday. Thank you very much for listening. John Ward, thanks for coming in.
My pleasure. And by the way, I'm not going to be here next week. I'll be hitting the road coming back from Virginia, where I'll be spending a few days.
All right.
Watching
Calling
Dude
from the
Perfect.
road
Next
if you
week.
want.
So have a great Halloween.
Thank you.
And when I come back, we'll have a special meeting, and you will hear more about what we discussed today.
With the
I'm sure.
properties. Okay.
And go out and enjoy the God-given day. It's a
All
beautiful
right.
one.
Very good. Melissa Smith, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me. See you next week.
All right. And Tim Draper, thanks for coming in.
My, how time flies. But thanks, Joe.
All right, I'm Joe Callahan. Have a great day, everyone. And stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do you remember is coming your way at 9:30 on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. Woonsocket Mayor Lisa Baldelli Hunt announced yesterday that the city, partnering with Rhode Island Resource Recovery Corporation, Eco Depot, will hold a free event this Saturday, October 28th. They do it every spring and every fall. It's a rain or shine event and will give